So good morning, all. I'd like to call this meeting of Kankakee Regional Rail District to order. If we can stand and let's see. Ready? So
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome everyone here this morning. We have a safety.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, member of the Rail Commission. So this is your quarterly safety brief for December 5th. All right, so designated person, excuse me, to call 911 will be Jackie. There is a first aid kit and AED located in customer service. There's also a fire extinguisher located in the middle of the room. If anyone's a DNR or have a medical condition, put a note in your right pocket or right shoe. Restrooms are located right out the store, down the hallway to the left. All right, so for emergency exits for the commissioners back there, you guys will exit through the double doors. Everyone on this side will exit through this hallway, out the platform door, meeting by the parking lot area. Everyone from here will follow suit and follow through the back doors there. And the evacuation designated assembly area, you guys can see right here, these are the double doors. See when it's opened, and that's where you guys will go. Restrooms located down the hall right here, and this is the door that you guys are going to go out to. All right, any questions? All right, that is your guys' quarterly safety brief. Thank you.
Very appreciative of the visual aids.
Try to simplify it. Super. Yeah.
Thanks very much. Yeah, we can take a roll call.
Thank you. Commissioners Marchand,
Here.
Salwan, Ariola, Singh, Fugazi, Morwood,
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Zuber,
Here.
Chair Craig Hensley,
Here.
ex officio members, do we have anyone on from ScanCog?
I'm here, Suze Wallen, Mayor of Modesto.
Thank you. SJCog,
Kim Anderson for SJCOG.
thank you. SJRTD,
Good morning, Ken Baxter, RTD.
thank you. Caltrans,
Good morning, Tom Dumas for Caltrans.
thank you. We do have four.
Thank you very much. At this point in time, if we have any public comment on non-agenda items, I'm happy to entertain those now. Any online?
Seeing none online.
Seeing none in the room? Thank you very much. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Are there any items that any of the commissioners would like to pull for further discussion on the consent calendar?
There's no public comment on the consent.
We have to just public comment. There's not. Is there any public comment online?
Seeing none online.
Any public comment in the room? Seeing none in the room, then I will accept your motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and approved. Do we give it a?
We have one online, so we'll have to do a roll.
Okay, roll call.
Thank you. Commissioners Marchand,
Aye.
Morwood,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zuber,
Yes.
Chair Craig Hensley.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will move on now to item 6. So Dr. Resolution authorizes staff to pursue an alternative solution to update and modernize passenger information display system. So, Mr. Cook, thank you very much.
Here we go again.
Okay.
So a couple months ago, when we met, it was to really kind of bring everything forward as far as the history of where we've been with the legacy PIDs, and then also really be able to understand what's our pathway forward, the challenges that exist today, and then, just what we need to do to be able to prepare ourselves. And so with that, what we did was we assembled the right people together within the Rail Commission. So people like myself, Ben, our IT manager, to really help us understand, just the full landscape of what is out there, what we're doing currently, and how do we kind of just untangle this? Because we're kind of at a point where we've been delayed and delayed and delayed. A project that was supposed to be 18 months, we're now years out. And so we know that, there are several critical things that are lying ahead of us. One being, okay, well, the technology is very old. And so at some point that hardware will start to see more and more faults, and also it's an ADA issue. So it is highly prioritized at this time. And so also, we kind of did a whole kind of evaluation of, the whole program. So what we started off with was a review for everyone. So really understanding where CalPIDS is today, And really, if we wanted to even recommend that we stay the course, we'd have to come up with the right justification and explain why we feel that's the best direction to go in. And then with that, we'd also have to resolve a current funding issue, just the way that the procurement has to be done because of where the dollars are coming from. And then, of course, getting buy-in from leadership and the board as well. So we looked at that angle and then we progressed on to, okay, well, let's do some research. Let's do the hard work to really try to understand, because I hate to spoil it to you, but not all of us are PID experts, but we are now PID experts, or on the verge at least. But, we did our research to really understand what our peers are doing. And so in some cases, we had several meetings with Amtrak because they have an initiative where they have to replace all their PIDs across their network. Smart, Caltrain, we visited over in their operations center to understand what they're doing. They're in their procurement process right now. So we were able to kind of just learn, what their approach was going to be. And even with LAPA, they're already doing some work right now. They have a vendor that they're working with. So we at least know what's out there. And then we also looked at the technology as well, just to become a little bit more familiar. With the CalPID solution, it's a custom, whereas these are some off-the-shelf solutions that we might be able to explore. And then from there, we said, okay, well, how do we solve this? If we were to go down this path, well, we know that we need the technical support to be able to help us really lay out the foundation for the scope of work, to really understand, okay, what are we trying to accomplish? What needs to be the project plan? And then who are the support systems that we need to be able to bring it to fruition? So kind of like when you think of what we did with the ticketing program, we really leaned in to get the support from someone who was able kind of to guide us and ask the questions that we didn't think to ask. And then from there, be able to onboard the actual vendors that would help us deliver the program itself. And so from that, the team agreed that, we needed to move forward in a direction. And so to do that, let's reevaluate the goals, just, what we actually need to do. And so we know that we need modernized technology. Right now, the operations of the PIDs is a little bit more manual than we would like. And then it's not really a naturally scalable solution, which is important because of where we are headed looking into the future. And also, we need to finish the project. I mean, at the end of the day, it's got to be done. And so with the alternative solution, we are looking to avoid the customization, because then that limits what we can do in being able to have something that we can build upon in the future. We also then can control the timeline of when this would actually be delivered. And then the other challenge is it's the cost. Right now, we don't know what those current costs or future costs would be for the CalPID solution. We need to at least be in a position to where we not only know the cost, but we can control the cost as well. And then lastly, this also does allow us to be able to kind of join some of the other initiatives that we're responsible for delivering, along with the signage and wayfinding project. So it scales everything together, because we also want to make sure that everything is cohesive and there's consideration for the full passenger experience at the station. And then, so lastly, kind of getting there, it would be kind of next step would be to start developing a scope of work for a technical consultant. And then making sure that, we have a fully fledged development plan, so that way we can really say, you know what, okay, we're ready to start buying stuff, start getting stuff installed. And so with that, we also recognize that there's going to be some benefits and disadvantages, if we do get approval to move forward with the alternative solution. But, the benefits are clear. It addresses the ADA issue, because that has to be taken care of. We can make sure that what we come up with actually fits the needs of our service, and that, even if, there's been some equipment purchased for CalPIDs, Ben's already looked at what has been, kind of ordered, and we can repurpose it. So there would not be any loss there either. And then we know that we'd have better integration, because again, we're looking at not something that is so defined, and again, we can get started. Disadvantages, it's not a quick solution. This isn't something where we just can say, okay, we want this done, in 6 months. It's going to take some time, but, and the ongoing costs today are uncertain. But, and there's, a long procurement cycle, because there's steps that we have to take to do this. But the team all felt unanimous in the fact that we can get it done. And so with that, we do want to go with the, get the recommendation to the board that we'd like approval to go with an alternative solution. And then just lastly, kind of where we're at with next steps overall with the program. currently Capital Corridor is doing the operation and management for the legacy pit, so what we have at the station today. We, again, thought this was gonna be an 18-month project initially. It's far exceeded that, and so we do have to amend and update our contract with them. So we'll be coming forward with that once we finalize kind of just those terms there. And then for, approval for the alternative solution is what we'd like to be able to get from the board today. So with that, I will take any questions.
Mr. Cook, are there questions from members of the commission? Online.
Seeing none.
The only question I have, do you go back to the chart kind of showing some of our partners and things? Curiosity question here on the yeah, there you go. So we did do some research specifically with Amtrak, Caltrain, some of those that we partnered with. Are they having difficulties with their systems, or there's just really no way for us to integrate with their systems for any consistency of look across that whole rail or that passenger rail corridor system?
It's nuanced, so it's interesting. So with Amtrak specifically, they have their own system that generates the data to tell when the trains are going to be arriving, and so that's proprietary. And so they're working with Samsung on a custom solution for both that software that's needed to be able to get that information, process the data, and then also the hardware itself. Now, the solution that they're going with, the hardware, is something that we could use. The software that they're using is something that we could, use. Ben has experience with it. So from the passenger perspective, it probably look and operate the same. It's just that the data channels feeding in would be different. With Caltrain, they are also, they're kind of a step backwards from where we're even at today, in the sense that they have a manual input. So someone is manually doing input live in the control room. And so, they are taking a big leap as far as where they're trying to go. And so they haven't defined everything just yet. And then with LOTBA, they have the solution. They're updating and modernizing what they have today and also integrating the new technology as well. And then with Smart, they did their whole package. And so they have kind of a similar approach that we probably would want to adopt.
In terms of the commission takes the action to move forward, when do you think you might come back next with an update?
Well, I think with Ben's help, we've got already for a technical consultant, you would say, to bring a technical consultant on board.
Commission. Thank you. At this point in time, we are going to look at our opportunities to find a consultant to help us actually set those scopes and set up our scope and find what we actually need to make a successful project work. At this point, I think we are still reviewing our financial side to make sure that we are well funded in this project. Maybe not just for 25-26, but maybe 26-27. I think we're going to have a better scope of how we're going to address this. Probably, if you give us until after the new year, then we can work with our budget office and our grant funding, see where we're at. I know there is some match funding that's set aside from our previous project that we haven't used yet. So we'll see where we can actually fit this project into that existing expenses.
Okay. Now I appreciate that funding and time to implementation is always something that I'm thinking about. So thank you very much for the presentation. Do we have any comments from members as well online?
Seeing none.
Didn't ask for that questions. Oh, okay.
When I saw the complaint about the avoids customization, obviously our messaging has to be customized.
Yes.
But as much as we can, getting things off the shelf, getting things that are readily available. When you customize something that's all proprietary, 5 years down the line, nobody's seen this thing. It's the only one of its kind in the world, and the only thing you do is replace it.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to down a good path because it's something that will be easier to update. Not a lot of customization, and they said the more you can go with readily available parts, seems the better. So I appreciate the effort.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, so we have a motion. Thank you. Do I have a second? And a second. We can do a roll call.
Thank you. Commissioners Martin,
Bye.
Morowitz,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zuber,
Yes.
Chair Craig Hensley.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you very much. And moving on to the Stockton Diamond Grade separation. So I'm looking forward to this. So thank you.
Good morning. My name is Momo Tamaki, Deputy Director of Planning, Grants and Programming. I'm here with Christine Inoue, Director of the Capital Programs today to provide the brief updates on Stockton Diamond Grade Separation Project. Sorry, wrong way. Okay. So at the October Rail Commission board meeting, we presented the challenges associated with the Stockton Diamond Grade Separation Project. And in that meeting, we also proposed the next steps, which is summarized below, so that we can be ready to transfer the project to a new implementation agency. So the things that we promised back then was that we are going to prepare the project and documents for transfer to new implementing agency. We also said that we are going to shift SB 132 and transit and inner city rail capital program funding from Stockton Diamond to other Valley Rail projects. And we also said that we will start working with the state, specifically California State Transportation Agency, as well as Caltrans, to find a suitable delivering agency that can advertise and construct this project. So today we have some updates on project status, as well as funding shift and coordination with state. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Christine.
Great, thank you. So the Rail Commission has been very thankful to have a dedicated project team. I want to acknowledge the tremendous work, not only that the team, but the project manager has done to on this really huge and complex project. Honestly, it's a mega project. And they have completed our obligations to finish the design and get the project ready for the final delivery stage or construction. So in the various areas of the project, the environmental clearance is complete. We are CEQA certified, we are NEPA certified, and we've done the re-examination and the addenda earlier this year in February. The heaviest lift for this project are the plans, the specifications, and the estimate. I am thrilled to say that these are done. There are 13 design packages. They are completely approved. This includes the 8 bridges and the grade separation for which is the main part of the project. Also includes the additional retaining walls, the culverts, and the track shift, which is 180 feet to the east. The bid documents and the technical specifications. I've seen these technical specifications. They are complex. Those are done too. So next slide. On the right of way. Property acquisitions and the associated relocations for those properties are done. We had approximately around 20 acquisitions that we need to complete. And then importantly, the CPUC approvals at the at-grade crossings, those are also all complete. Approvals are done. Now for this project requires a construction and maintenance agreement with UP and with EN. That agreement is in draft, awaiting a delivery partner to finalize it. And then on utility relocations, the gas relocations have been done. The electric relocations are approved and awaiting PG&E to go ahead and self-perform. This would also include Comcast and AT&T, which all those three go together. And then the others, Cal Water, Lumen, Verizon, City of Stockton, Sewer and Water, those are awaiting a delivery partner to finalize agreements and then get those relocations started. Next slide. I'll hand it back to Momo to talk about funding.
Thank you, Christine. So as you can see on the slide, the Stockton Diamond project has many different funding programs on the project. So the first two, CMAQ and BUILD, are federal grants. And we received the CMAQ from SJCOG. And where we are with this funding is that it has already been flex transferred from FHWA to FTA. But in order for FTA to obligate the funds, FRA has to get involved because BUILD fund was placed on the project first. And so FRA is the lead of the BUILD fund, so they have to go and obtain the approval from Office of Secretary of Transportation. So it's pending their approval. And as far as the BUILD fund, $20 million, we are the subrecipient. Caltrans is the direct recipient of the grant. And so we are following Caltrans' direction to continue coordination with the FRA. TCEP, unfortunately, this funding is very restrictive, and so we cannot meet the allocation deadline, which is this month. And so this funding will lapse. However, the good news is that CPC is very supportive of us reapplying for these funds when we are ready to get back on the construction phase. And then the good news is TERSIP Cycle 3, Cycle 6, and Cycle 7, as well as SB 132. Those remaining funding on the Stockton Diamond can be recycled and repurposed for other projects within the Valley Rail program. And so actually, as of last night, we received approval from CalSTA to move the TERSIP funds on other Valley Rail project in writing. So we just have to go through one more step to get approval from CPC on those. Coordination with state is also ongoing. So staff met with Caltrans and CalSTA twice in October and November. And we discussed the project transition strategy for the future. And so we've decided collectively that we need to establish a working group to continue discussion and make progress on this project. And we are also going to work together to develop an interagency co-op agreement so that when we have that delivering partner, we can officially hand off the project. And then we will continue to work with the Caltrans to develop a service agreement with host railroads. And so we've decided that the first working group meeting will be scheduled in January next year. And then the subsequent meetings will be held quarterly. That is the end of our presentation, and we'll be happy to take any questions.
Questions for the commission? Just a few. So I understand we're looking for a delivery partner to the project because we all have agreed that we've met our obligations under the agreement, correct? It would be nice to know cost to take in order for us to have, we're making our case about we're not moving forward with implementation. So we've spent this much money to get all of this ready for someone else to take on the capital. So I would just like to know, so we have that argument. The bill funds, so are we still taking responsibility for securing those, or our delivery partner is now the responsible?
So BUILD funds, Caltrans is responsible for it because they are the direct recipient of the grant. And then so if they are able to, just keep it, I would think that the Caltrans will transfer the funds to the next delivery agents.
Okay, and then on the TSAP, that's 132 million. Again, are we the ones that are taking responsibility, or can we go look for those funds go to something other than the stock bank?
Unfortunately, TSIP was specifically awarded for the Stockton Diamond project.
Okay.
And then so unlike TERSIP or the SB 132, we are not allowed to reprogram it for other projects. So TERSIP and SB 132 was awarded to a Valley Rail program. And so as long as the projects are within that award, we could move the money between different projects within the Valley Rail program, but TSIP was only specific to Stockton Diamond project.
And then last question is, I'm just curious on the working group, who constitutes the working group?
So we are the member of the working group as well, but we also have CalSDA and Caltrans as partners.
All right, so that brain trust is gonna come up.
Yeah, I would say that, Chair, that was something that we had promised to UP and BN, we would start a working group with the state to keep progress on the Diamond project, so it's not falling off the list, it's just being deferred to later in the program delivery. But we need to work with them and understand, like, how would they like to see the project transferred into what division of the state was is gonna take on that delivery. And so these quarterly meetings will be used to make sure that it doesn't sort of like go into the back burner, but it's at the forefront of all of our working today.
One of the things I'm just wondering is, this isn't Stockton. You know, it's been in the like voice advocacy effort for Stockton. So I want to make sure that Mayor Gazi is fully up to speed. That's kind of why I asked for this. You know, as you said yourself, Stockton is still, you know, previous wrap. So that's just something. Any comments online?
We have one public comment online from a Justin Penman. I will allow to speak now.
Good morning, Board of Directors. I had a quick question for you guys with regards to the Stockton Diamond grade separation. I did a little bit of research online and I see that, you know, we have various funding sources from the city, from the state, federal. I wanted to know if BNSF and UP will be contributing to any of the funding to get this grade separated.
Is there a way to address this question with, you know?
At this time, there are no financial contributions from the railroads, though they're trying to sort of use that in-kind contributions.
Yeah, I would assume their engineering, their other project review staff, that is time, or in kind support. So Mr. Bennett, that would be the answer to that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So any other comments online?
Seeing none other online.
Okay, any from the audience? Seeing none from the audience, I just informational gratification. So thank you both very much. Steve, you've done a really good job trying to put all of these two cents together. So thank you. Thank you. Hey, are you gonna? I you're finding fun something for Ace too outside.
I know. Last meeting had me kind of under the gun a little bit. And it's like, no, I'm going to save it. I don't want to still chance them. So excited to be able to talk about, you know, H2 now that we're actually a year out from launching that. So with that, you know, I get to do some of the fun marketing stuff because I told David, like, I'm missing it. Got to give something to the commissioner. So we're just going to look at some of our promotional and strategic kind of advertising for H2, and then Chad will come in with the numbers. So with that, we'll take a little look at some of the video that we put out for it.
If you're a commuter looking for work-life balance, a new ACE 2 early out train departure schedule now gets you home before 5 p.m. The benefits of no traffic and more productivity aboard ACE just got better. Get your tickets on the ACE Rail mobile app.
We use spots like that for some of our digital streaming channels, as well as using it for radio. Overall, you know, the campaign that we ran through some of our paid channels ran from November 2024 through October 2025. And specifically for those activities, we were able to garner over 22 million impressions. So that's over 22 million eyeballs on the content that we've been putting out. And then we had almost 250,000 clicks, and then our click-through rate was 1.94. So very good numbers for this type of a program, especially for our industry. And then you just see some of the visuals that we added in, and even some of the fun language that we tried to adopt. So using like early out as a way to kind of just catch passengers' eyes. And then you saw just reclaim your time, because that's really what a lot of this was about. And then I also wanted to highlight, because we did get special authorizations to be able to do some procurement for some out of home purchasing for advertising. I kind of call this Tamika's project, because she was very adamant that we need to become visible to those who are in their cars. And so we were able to get 7 flights purchased along I-5, I-205, and I-580. 2 of those were statics, they were always there, and then the other 5 were digital. All across everything, we were able to get 27 million impressions. So the vendors, they're able to tell us how many times our ads show up in rotation. And then also, even just from the static ones, they're able to measure how many eyeballs you're traditionally going to be able to get when cars are driving on the road. So I did want to kind of just celebrate that, because that was just kind of a great win. And we heard from staff, heard from the community, they were seeing us. So that was really great. Now let's get into the numbers as far as how H2 has performed. With that, I'll give it to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, esteemed members of the board. My name is Chad Duvshin, and I'm the Transportation Research Analyst here at the Rail Commission. Today, I'm here to talk about the performance of the ACE2 service, which began a little over a year ago now, on November 18th, 2024. But before we get into that, let's take a look at why this change was made. So why the move to ACE2? We began by looking at the 2-year train performance data, and we identified ACE10 as consistently underperforming in comparison to the other eastbound or afternoon trains. Furthermore, market research and passenger surveys indicated that commuter trends favored earlier afternoon departures and also illustrated passenger concerns about arriving home after dark. Thus, staff recommended shifting ACE10 to an earlier time as ACE2 in order to alleviate crowding on ACE4 and to attract new riders through enhanced safety perception and better schedule alignment. Next slide. So, how did this change affect service? Looking at the year-over-year performance of the service, we see that the total ridership grew by almost 80,000 riders, or 22%. Comparing ACE2 to ACE10, this was an increase of about 113% year over year. Additionally, increased ridership gains on ACE8 show that the service adjustment has not affected demand for existing services. In fact, recent survey results, which we'll talk about in a few slides, showed that 20% of ACE2 riders were new to the service. Therefore, the result of the shift showed that eastbound ridership distribution has become more balanced, with earlier ACE trains now better aligned with passenger travel patterns. Next slide, please. In terms of average daily ridership, ACE2 has shown increased ridership across all days of the week when compared to ACE10. This change from an average daily ridership of 121 to 257 represents an increase of 112% year over year. To highlight more recent trends, however, I'd like to note that the daily average ridership for ACE2 in October was nearly 300. And next slide, please. And finally, looking at our performance through the eyes of the passenger, staff conducted a survey of ACE2 riders in September 2025. During the month, average daily ridership for ACE2 was 300, and 150 surveys were collected, from which a vast majority, or over 94%, reported that they were either very satisfied or satisfied with ACE2. As noted earlier, the survey results show that 1 in 5 ACE2 riders are new to the service, and as well that half of the respondents found out about ACE2 through word of mouth, with about 1 in 4 finding about the new service through online search and the ACE Rail website. And lastly, we've highlighted some of the different ACE2 rider testimonials here that express rider sentiment regarding the service adjustment. I'll just highlight this first one here that says, "I found this new schedule very beneficial as it allows me to reach home earlier and take care of my baby without relying on other public transportation. I'm truly grateful to the ACE team for introducing this train time."
And of course, there are some different sentiments as well, just to kind of give you an idea of the different feedback we're getting. But with that, I will progress to the next slide and take any questions.
Thank you. This is wonderful information. Do we have any questions from the commission?
No, anytime the 96% public approval rate. That's You can't get 96% of people to agree the sky is blue. In this political life. So great, well done.
Thank you very much.
I am curious because now that the word has gotten out, I am wondering if we are seeing an increase in the earlier hours in the morning. In other words, are people who may work still an 8-hour day going earlier to take advantage of the earlier time for departure? So I don't know if we've seen a correlation in increased ridership on the front end because of the fact that we now have this earlier train, people are willing to go in earlier. So just, for investigation, I'd be interested in seeing if there's a correlation there or not. Have we seen a reduced number on the ACE 10 to, or is that just, oh, that's the last train, so I gotta grab that one and we keep that?
That would be ACE 8.
ACE 8 is the last train, sorry. Yeah, okay, so just was wondering.
Actually, the ridership growth on the ACE 8 has actually grown a little bit stronger in proportion to the other trains. So there has been a little bit stronger ridership on ACE 8.
Oh, okay.
So that's interesting.
So that still is a pretty robust ridership, so. Any comments online from the public?
Seeing that online.
Okay, Andy in the audience. All right, I appreciate the presentation. So for information, this is great. And I'm glad you got your little marketing fix there. Thank you
very much.
Okay, we are at board member comments. Do I have any comments or announcements from any of board members? Okay, well, I will take this. So two things. One, I want to thank Del very much for helping. You all are now aware we have another 7th train for Amtrak, and I'm going to take a victory lap because it's stopping in Lodi. It's out of the day, so people can go to the Capitol and enjoy the Capitol, have lunch, come back at a decent hour. Still working on that commuter one though. We really want a full day there if they need to, but I'm taking advantage of that and bringing my economic development director, my chamber, visit Lodi, CEOs and a couple of council members to go and celebrate that in Sacramento with Commissioner Hume, who is going to be there as well. And we'll be bringing Board of Supervisor member Steve Ding with us as well. So we want to make sure that people understand the importance of that new Amtrak stop for all of our Central Valley communities. So Bakersfield at 7, you can get to Sacramento by lunchtime and have a great day of it if you need to make that travel. So I want to really appreciate that we do have that new stop. And then the other thing I was just going to, and I think I had mentioned this at yesterday's COG meeting, and I did request that rail be given a seat on the Citizens Advisory Committee. So it is going back to the committee for consideration, and I just wanted y'all to be aware of that. So, and that's it for me. So, do we have any ex officio comments? Do we want to start with Mayor Wallen?
I'm just still blown away with the 94%. That's really impressive. So I don't have any official report. Thank you everyone for all that you do. I enjoy being a part of these meetings and look forward to the future together. Have a great holiday season.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Baxter.
Good morning, Ken Baxter, RTD. 2 quick items. I would like to share some really good news. RTD and Representative Josh Harder announced on November the 20th that the Federal Transit Administration awarded RTD $10.3 million in federal funding. And this is going to be used to replace 9 aging buses for new hybrid electric vehicles. I almost said hydrogen. And then lastly, I'd just like to invite all of you to think about attending the Stockton Move Downtown Open House next Wednesday, and that's December the 10th. RTD is going to host that downtown here at the Transit Center, and that's located at 421 East Weber. And some of the activities, and this is going to be from 11 a.m. in the morning through 2 p.m. And you can drop by anytime and just spend a few minutes, and you can provide input on a draft project alternative listing. And this is looking at improving safety, connectivity with transit providers. It's looking at different economic opportunities, land use like TODs, the transit-oriented development opportunities that we have downtown. And the entire magnitude, the focus of this downtown Stockton to the north is Oak Street going south to the Burlington Northern Santa Fe tracks. And then on the west side from Center Street going back east to Airport Way. So that includes, the rail station, it includes that downtown transit center and many other opportunities to improve land use, integration with transportation, et cetera, including bike and ped opportunities. So that's all I have. If, as always, if you have any questions, anything I can ever do, please let me know. Thank you very much. Happy holidays and have a great weekend. Thank you.
Mr. Baxter, very informative. Let's move on to Anderson. SJCOG. Is she there?
She is there.
Apologies.
That's okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. I have one item that I would like to put before the commission today. I just wanted to let you know that we are updating our regional bike master plan, as well as developing a new set of tools for grant applications for member agencies. We have a survey currently up on our website available, and I would be happy to make sure that the commissioners all receive that link, and we would ask that you share with other folks so they can weigh in on bike and pedestrian infrastructure into the future. And thank you. That was all I had today.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Yes, I saw that it popped up, so I'm glad to forward that information out to our community. So, and then lastly, Mr. Moss.
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple things I'd like to announce. The U.S. Department of Transportation has released its call for applications for the BUILD program. That's the Better Utilizing Investments to Leverage Development. The program funds surface transportation infrastructure projects that have a significant impact on local or regional projects there. Highway, road, bridge projects, public transit, passenger rail, freight improvements, port improvements, safety resilience. These are very important projects. Caltrans has issued a call for letters of support. If your program is requesting some of these funds and you need a letter of support from Caltrans, please request those by December 18th. There is a portal established for folks to do that. And if you have any questions, we have a strategic investment program manager here at District 10, Sylvia Dyack, you can reach out to. If you want to give me a call, I will be glad to pass those on to you. There's about $1.5 billion available. These applications are due February 26th, and the state and local governments and counties and transit agencies are all eligible to apply. And there is a website at grants.gov that you can get more information on. And there's also, excuse me, our Office of Traffic Safety has a call for applications for the 27-year program. These program goals are looking to reduce and prevent serious injuries and deaths on highways. And you can apply for these funds. They're really to help build relationships and to provide information and do everything we can to support the communities and help reduce traffic accidents out there. Those amounts it's a variable amount of funds that are in the program right now, but they are looking for a deadline of January 31st. And if you go to the Office of Traffic Safety's website, that's ots.ca.gov, that'll have all the information. That's all I have today. I just wish everyone have a safe and happy holiday season. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Mr. Demas, and we always like the good news of funding opportunities. So thank you for joining us with that today. So, we are now moving on to our interim executive director's report.
You have just two items. The first is as we continue to move our initiatives forward here at the commission, as well as in support of the initiatives for SJRRC, the team here is growing. So I'm actually going to make Marcus talk one more time and introduce a new team member like that of the department.
Thank you. Back again, close out the show. I would like to introduce Marissa Cabusas, who's joined our team as our onboard experience manager. So when we think about, the amenities that exist on board the train, which really keep our passengers happy, things like Wi-Fi, being able to have the bike racks, things, everything that they kind of touch on board. Marissa will be able to kind of really dig into that and make sure that we're upholding the standards that we'd like to have for the service. Thank you.
My last item is related to an item that you actually approved at your last meeting, the upgrades to this station. So happy to report that the progress on that project is going to happen like immediately before the end of the year, and it actually starts here in the boardroom. And so you'll see next time we're here, kind of an update here, and then they're going to be doing the lobby very early on in January. So your January meeting is actually going to be relocated to the COG building here downtown, as the work will be going on here in this room.
Well, that'll be an interesting unveiling then.
Yes, it will.
Looking forward to that. So thank you, Ms. Perry. And item 12 is town council. That is not a closed session item. Yes, it is a closed session. That's okay. So item 12 is a closed session item. We should like to introduce the closed session item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We actually have 3 items on for closed session this morning. The first is conference with real property negotiators. This is regarding property at 1155 3rd Street in Oakland, Alameda County. Negotiators for the agency are David McCary and Tamika Smith, and negotiating parties for the owner of Morris Wright and Thompson White. Price insurance is under negotiation, and that item is for regular and special voting members. Item 13 is closed session, public employment. That's one position, the appointment of the chief executive officer, and the agency negotiators are Chair Lisa Craig Hensley and Vice Chair Lisa Zuber. Regular voting members only. And then item 14, closed session. There it is. Public employment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957 is one position, interim executive director. The agency negotiators are Chair Lisa Craig Hensley and Vice Chair Lisa Zuber. And that is again regular voting members only. And with that, you can adjourn to this session.
Thank you. We're now adjourned to closed session.
You and Dave are gonna be here for the committee.
They will be on.
Okay.
All right. Let me go grab everyone.
We are going to be ready for this law, he's been designated. They are here in his office and response. He has a paper clips. Paper clip. I, at least know, when I started, I had not even a piece of paper on it, there was nothing. I didn't have many on the computer. Oh, it's right, like sideways and containers, 3 hours, so self-sufficient. And Dan showed us 3 hours, and I was like, you did a great job.
It's a second.
Let's use the first day. With all of them. This crowd. Sorry, I'm ready.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay, we are back from closed session. I'd like to turn it over to our general counsel for the report out on the property negotiation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 12, again, was conference of real property negotiators. This is regarding the property in Oakland. That item was discussed by the commissioners present in closed session. Direction was given, and at this time, there is no other reportable action.
Thank you. I will report out on the closed session items, public employment, one position, appointment of chief executive officer, and one position, interim executive director. Mr. Orlando, welcome. You are now our new CEO. Mr. Orlando will be the CEO of the San Joaquin Regional Rail Commission, as well as the his role as CEO, because we're the managing agency for the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority. So you are welcome to those two roles. And I might ask you if you want to stand up and say a few words about coming to join us and how excited we are, of course. I hope you are.
And Chris is going to the podium. I'm going to put on the record that it was a unanimous vote to appoint Chris Orlando as chief executive officer by those present in the closed session.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the opportunity from the commission. It's been great to get to know both of you and to get to know this agency. Such an important part of this community and for the region. I look forward to helping you advance it and to build it into even more. I'm also really excited to work with the team here. I've had the opportunity to engage with them and work with them in a different context and know the incredible work they do. So I'm very excited to be a part of the team here and really just look forward to working with the commission and working with staff to move the agency forward and to continue the strong innovation collaboration foundation that you already have. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We look forward to your first meeting with us in January. That's so great. Yes. With that, I would also like to acknowledge our interim executive director, David Placari, for the excellent job you have done these past few months as we've been going through this process. And to announce that effective January 5th, David will be the deputy executive director of the Rail Commission. So thank you very much. We have a few words to say, and we'd be happy.
Well, I really appreciate it, as I mentioned, when we took on the interim role of your confidence, like in sort of my oversight during this sort of period of transition. And I'm looking very much to working with Chris and seeing how far we all can go. Right? We have a very exciting program and we're not slowing down, so we're really excited. Thank you so much.
And I will also note for the record that that was a unanimous vote to amend Mr. McCary's employment agreement with a termination date.
Okay, moving on to item 6. Sorry. So the next step, approving the resolution and the employment contract for the position of the chief executive officer. This is for regular voting members only. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Is there any public comment on this item?
Seeing that online.
And any in the room? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Vote. With that, I'll accept a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Move to approve and a second,
Second.
or with, roll call.
Thank you, Commissioners Morwood,
Yes.
Chair Zuber,
Yes.
Chair Hensley.
Yes,
Thank you, motion passes.
and with that, there being no other action, we are adjourned, to a January 2nd is canceled. A special meeting on January 8th at 8:30 a.m., which will be at the COG office. So thank you all very much.
32.